Hello, everybody. How are you? Okay, I was doing some teasing on my Instagram stories about what toque I should wear since it's like the holidays and I'm wearing my Noel, but I decided I was getting a little too hot to wear my toque. All right, so how's everyone doing? So good to see all of you coming on. Zoom is doing a great job at bringing you all up on so by the way, it's a webinar. Sorry, a webinar. So a webinar, you don't see everybody. So you don't have to have your makeup on. You don't have to worry about people seeing you or not. You're good to go. So welcome, welcome. So nice to see all of you hopping on. I am Dara Thomason, and it's wonderful to have you here. So let's get started. Zoom will just keep having people coming on. So let me just make sure. Sorry, I should have double checked this before all right, here we go. So this is just a format, just so you know. The format of our webinar is going to be through me just talking. I have slides for you, and we're going to be solving the overconsuming and finding balance in the holidays. And so you might be asking yourself this question, not sure how to have yourself a merry little Christmas, right? What is stopping you from having a Merry Christmas? So what makes Christmas hard? I want you to put it in the chat. What makes Christmas stressful? What makes Christmas scary? What makes Christmas painful? And what makes Christmas challenging? Okay. So in the chat, actually don't put it in the chat, put it in the Q&A, I believe. I think the chat is disabled. So let's just see. Here, if you ladies can just put something in the chat, that would be great. So what is stressful? What is hard? What is difficult? What creates, like, when you think about Christmas coming, what kind of stress comes to you? That's what I want to hear. Okay. So you can put it, I don't know if it's the Q&A or the chat that's working, but you can put that in there. Okay. So I have a list. I'm answering the question. Uh-oh. I just stepped on my seam ripper, and good thing I'm wearing shoes. It used to be on here and it came off. Anyways, all right. So stressful things at Christmas. I have some ideas for you. Oh, here we go. Yeah, it is in the Q&A. Chat is closed. Okay, good. At the social gatherings and lots of delicious food available. Totally. Okay. So stressful things at Christmas. So one of them is, so I would love you to say more about that. So social gatherings, lots of delicious food available. So what's stressful about that? What's scary about that? What's frightening about it? Is it you don't trust yourself to overeat? You just feel like you have to eat everything? Like, I want to hear more about what is hard about that, because having lots of delicious food somewhere doesn't have to be stressful. So what is it? You just want to overeat, or what is it? Okay. So money spent. So you had a budget and you spent more than what you had planned, or you had no budget and then you were so afraid to see what the numbers were, and then they came out and you felt terrible. Yeah, you love it all. So when you love it all, is it that you just want to keep eating it all and you don't have self-control? Like, I want you guys, ladies, to get more specific about what it is, because I could go to a party, a festive party, and say, oh my goodness, look at this. These people were amazing. These people they're so creative. I just love all the food that they have out, but doesn't mean I have to eat any of it, right? It really doesn't. Like, I could just be there and just appreciate the spread that they had, but that doesn't mean that I have to eat any of the food that they put out. Because what if, let's say I went to the doctor and the doctor said, hey, you can't eat for the next 24 hours because we're doing this test, and we need to make sure that you don't have any food in your stomach. So I can still go to the party and I could still have a lot of fun. Okay. So I really want you to get specific about it. Okay. So weight gain. So indulgences. This is a box of chocolate. This is the pot of gold chocolate. I know my drawing is not that awesome on it, but like, so just like, in the Q&A, like, I just want it. I just love it. I just want it all. So it's like, I just want to consume everything. I just want all the chocolate. I want all the, whatever it is. Okay. So I don't trust myself. I don't feel like I, can make good decisions around this. I don't have self-control. I eat till I feel sick. I feel bloated. I have, maybe if you're lactose intolerant, you're eating a lot of ice cream. I feel whatever that is. Okay. So I want you to get really clear on it. Stressful things at Christmas can be family dynamics. It's like, we haven't been together for so long with COVID and everything. It's so stressful because I want to feel a certain way and people don't get along. And so I feel like I have to go be the in-between. Like, what is it? Like, what family dynamics specifically are really stressful for you? People pleasing. So this is saying yes when really you don't. So it's like, that's really stressful because you're like, I can't trust myself when someone says, hey, we need someone to volunteer here. We need someone to bring this thing here. We need someone to do this. It's like, I just will always say yes, but that means I'm always saying no to me. And then I don't have the time that I want. Right. And so it just creates this really uneven balance and it feels terrible. Okay. Another stressful thing at Christmas is we have a desired experience. So this is a TV. And of course, we've got these amazing Hallmark movies and they all look so amazing. You're like, I want that desired experience. I want to have that, but you don't always feel like you can have it. And you don't know how to find that for yourself. You don't know how to create that balance. You don't know how to get that result. Another stressful thing is expectation. So this is a camera. And so it's like, I want to have these certain family kinds of things or community things or whatever that is. And I don't know how to do it. I don't feel secure that I can create that. Another stressful thing is possible problems. So, you could have delays. You can have cancellations. I live on an island and apparently tomorrow we're having a huge storm. And so probably all the ferries are going to be shut down. So anyone that was planning on going on a ferry, you won't be able to. Like, that is just part of reality. You might get sick. So maybe this is a mask, by the way. So maybe someone will get COVID, or maybe someone will have just different issues. And so because of that, you won't be able to do the things that you had hoped to have done, right? Weather. So like I said, tomorrow we're supposed to have 15 centimeters of snow, and on the island, they are not equipped for that. And so it's like, do we have all the groceries we need? But that there's could be cancellations there too. Okay. So these are all stressful things at Christmas. Like, are the kids going to be able to come home? And then also, like, there's lots of other things, but those are just some of the ones I have. So of all of these, which one do you feel is the most scary for you? If you were to pinpoint this thing is the most scary, what is it? Is it the food? Is it the shopping? Is it the spending? Is it the people pleasing? Is it the feeling out of control? Like, there could be a storm and then no one would come and then I would feel terrible. Like, what is it, do you think, for you? And remember, we're all unique and different. So when you ask yourself this question, just let yourself go there. Okay. All right. So people pleasing. Yeah. So I can't trust myself to say no. I feel bad about saying no, or whatever that is. And just getting curious about why. Okay. I love it. All right. So what we want on the holidays is we want to enjoy our holidays. We want to not feel guilty. We want to enjoy family and friends. We want to build memories. We want to enjoy giving and receiving. How hard is it to receive? I know it's kind of hard, isn't it? Share love and feel love. You want to feel connected. You want to have fun. You want to feel awesome, and you want to be joyful, right? These are all the things that you want to have. So what is it that's causing you to not, like, what's the things that are so stressful to you that you feel like it can't happen? All right. So what do you do to get your desired goals? So quite often we spend a lot of money, our time making or buying. We focus on treats to bring our joy. So we're like, I don't really know how to create my own joy, so I'm going to depend on special holiday food. I'm going to make and bake a lot of things. I'm going to spend a lot of time making food and thinking about food. One of the like traditions, right? When you think about how you grew up, I mean, think about how much time your family spent on thinking about food, talking about food, creating food, eating food, and then talking about it and then creating it. Like, it was just such a big part of the holidays. So to take that out feels like there's a void there, right? Like, it's like, oh, well, what do I do? Who am I if I'm not making food and talking about food and planning food, and everything around my holidays is planned around food? Like, who am I who does that? Because that doesn't seem like me, because we've always done it where this is what our holidays are like. Okay. And we're looking to the food to feel our joy. So of course, if you're looking for something to give you joy, but we know it won't give you joy, well, it gives you a short-term joy, but it's not a long-lasting, right? It's not a delayed gratification. And you will, it's like you're running on a treadmill and you never get to the destination, but yet you're exhausted, right? It's the same thing. And so if you're looking to chocolate to make you feel better, you're always going to be disappointed. If you're looking for the Christmas cake to make you feel better, or for the eggnog, or for the whatever that is, you're always going to be disappointed, because it's not a long-lasting solution. It's not the answer. It's a distraction. Okay. All right. Why doesn't this work? Well, our desired feelings come from thoughts, not food, right? Overconsuming, right? When we overconsume time or food, it creates an imbalance. So eating too much refined foods like sugar and flour, they do give us these side effects. Okay. So we get brain fog, we're distracted, we're always going to the wrong source, right? Like, we're not able to solve the actual problem. And it does feed an addiction. Like, sugar is an addiction. White flour can be an addiction. So we're not going to mince words here, but I mean, we can always navigate that. We can plan ahead. We can use our higher brain instead of our lower brain. Like, there's lots, like, I don't tell people never to eat sugar again, never eat flour, like refined flour again. I don't buy into that, but, so this is what can happen. Then we need more. So then the problem is, if we are turning to the chocolate, or we're turning to the, the bun or the roll or the cinnamon bun or whatever that is, if we keep turning to that, then one used to be like one chocolate bar could do it for us. We could kind of get that a little bit more calm, that false pleasure calm. But you can't, if you keep doing that, your body builds a resistance to that sugar. And so you need like 2 chocolate bars to feel that same hit, right? It's just like drugs. I mean, not like I've ever done drugs, but it's what we know about drugs. Like, one, smoke a little bit of weed used to do it for you, and now you have to smoke, like, I don't know, more, right? Okay. So the problem is that food is actually neutral. And so food will take what we decide about it. So for this free training, I'm going to share with you 3 ways that you can find balance over the holidays and prepare for it. Okay. And also, sorry, for the preparation of the holidays, because we're in full bore for a lot of us. We've just had the American Thanksgiving. So that's usually like it's like, okay, now that that's over, it's all Christmas. Right. And so, and depending on who you are and how you look at things, you can decide about that. But the Christmas is coming. It's less than a month away. All right. So the first one I'm going to teach you is to take charge. So many women want to be in control. I will help you learn how to be in control. It's going to be amazing. Second, we need to get to the root of the issue. Okay. And the third one is I'm actually giving you some practical tools. I have some fun things I'm going to show you of ways that I can actually do. And I love how I put it, practical checklist strategies with trust, you will do them. So it's like, it's one thing to say, oh yeah, she's going to say this and this and this and this, but I'm teaching you some very practical, doable, like right now you could do, and you could actually trust yourself that you will accomplish it. Okay. Sound like a plan? Okay. So number one, I want you to learn how to take charge, and from a place of, I'm going to be in charge of me. Now, the problem is we try to be in charge of other people. Now, if you're babysitting your grandkids or nieces or nephews or whoever, and they're under 18, you are in charge of them. Like, you can have a say on what they're doing. You can make demands of them. You could say, hey, we're going to go to bed at a certain time, or I expect you to speak a certain way. And if you don't, then you're going to have consequences like that. You do have that responsibility in that role, but we can't do that for adults. Okay. Even if you're married to them, or even if you're related to them, we can't control other people. It's just, we just can't. And we can try, but they have their own agency and they get to decide how they want to act. So the problem is, if we don't find that balance, So we say we want to find balance over the holidays. Well, the problem is we don't find it, we create it. And so we create our own balance. We create our own safety. We create our own experience. And so just like in nature, we have the sun and the moon. So we know because we have the sun, we have light, we are also going to have the dark. Okay. And so that we also have, like, if it's black, there's white. So there's always opposites in everything. And that's how we know. We're actually, it's daytime because it's light, because we know the contrast is dark. And that's the, so we have to have the one to have the other. We can't just, otherwise there wouldn't be any differentiation. So in life, to be a well-balanced human, and I talk a lot about this in the work that I do, is we need to have 50% good and 50% bad. So you could say positive, negative, however you want to look at it. But in order to be a well-balanced human, we have to have the contrast, right? We have to have that. Otherwise, if everything was good all the time, we wouldn't know that there's bad. We wouldn't even know that there was a difficulty. So that's really important to just keep in mind as you think about the holidays. And we all want to have, well, I don't know, I'm not going to speak for you, but a lot of us want to have like these memories and we want to have all these experiences. But if we don't allow any of the negative, or don't even allow for negative, then guess what? Amazing, awesome. We won't even know that it is amazing, awesome, because that will just be your new normal. You see what I mean? So one of the things that I want to ask you is, when you think about feeling a negative emotion, or even a lot of us have a hard time feeling positive emotion. In fact, today, it was really interesting. I had this really positive thing happen to me. And as soon as that positive thing happened, my brain went to, yeah, but look at this and look at that and look at this and look at that. Those aren't that great. So you shouldn't get your hopes up too high. Okay. Can anyone relate to that? And so I want you to ask yourself, how well are you doing? Pardon me. How well are you doing at just allowing or accepting the emotion that you have? Are you spending a lot of time avoiding an emotion? Like, oh, I don't want to feel that. I don't want to feel that. I don't want to feel that. Like, Christmas is coming. I don't want to feel the stress. I don't want to deal with it. So you just kind of say, I'm not going to think about that now. I'm going to put that off. I'm going to think about that later. I can't deal with that now. And then what about resisting? How much do you resist of like, no, that's not going to be me. Nope, that's not happening, right? or reacting like, can you believe this is happening? This is ridiculous. This isn't happening. I'm not going to accept this. This is unacceptable. Like, I just wonder, how much time do you spend here versus like, oh my gosh, I feel really negative right now. I feel really uncomfortable. My stomach is gurgling. I'm so uncomfortable. This is terrible. No, I don't want to feel this. No. Chocolate. No. Like, how many of us do that? Okay. And be honest with yourself. And so this is what I want you to, I'd love for the whole world to understand this, because the problem is, we have a thought. Our thoughts create our feelings. Always. That is where feelings come from. Feelings do not come from chocolate. Feelings do not come from cinnamon buns. They do not come from chips. They do not come from fruitcake. Our feelings always come from our thoughts. So I have this tool that I use as a life coach, because a life coach helps you think about your thinking, and it helps you to take your own power back. Okay, that's what a life coach does. And so we have a circumstance. So that could be fruitcake, that could be chocolate, that could be whatever, anything, any food, anything. And so then we have a thought about that. So if we say, oh, that is my favorite thing in the world, and that feeling is joy. So then we think, oh, if I eat this, then I can have joy, right? But that isn't how feelings work. The feeling actually comes from the thought. So if I said, I'm really late, my heart immediately starts to pump. I feel like really like agitated. I start sweating even. And I'm like, I gotta go, right? Because it's like, I gotta hurry. And so your body kicks into gear, releases hormones and says, we got to get going. This girl's late. Okay. So if that is where our feelings come from. We think that we're supposed to like listen to motivational podcasts or pump up music or something, and that's where we're gonna get it. But that isn't true. Our feeling always comes from our thoughts. Okay, it comes from like a little speech bubble up here, our thoughts, right? So everything we do, so all the motivation, everything that motivates us is because we want to feel a certain emotion. We want to feel accepted. We want to feel like we belong. We want to feel sufficient. We want to feel good enough. We want to feel awesome, right? We want to feel all the things. Okay. And I'm going to tell you, even if someone dies who you love, you actually want to feel sad because you loved that person and you're not going to see them. I believe you're going to see them after this earth, but like, you're going to miss them. It's like so sad. They're not there. Like, I think about my grandma Hazel. She didn't get to physically hold and meet my two youngest boys. That makes me kind of sad that we didn't get a picture of them on her lap. And it makes me sad at Christmas time when I bring out her decorations and I think, oh, thank you, Grandma Hazel. I love you, but I'm kind of sad. I miss you. I miss our conversations, right? Okay. So this is why, because I'm going to tell you the reason why you want to be thin, the reason why you want to lose weight is because you think that when you lose weight, then you'll be acceptable. Then life will be better. Okay. But life, to be a balanced human, 50% of it is good and 50% is not always so good. Okay. Because then you have the contrast. Where do all of our feelings come from? That's right. Our thoughts. So if we are resisting, reacting, and avoiding our thoughts, this is a beach ball. We're pushing things down and we're suppressing them and we're not letting ourselves be a human. Okay. And so all we actually need to do to have success and not to waste a lot of our energy and time and effort is we just accept it. So when something happens and someone says something to you, or you feel like you spent a lot of time making a quilt for somebody, and you go to their house and you see the dog is using it, you're allowed to feel whatever you want to feel. And if you feel upset, then just be upset. If you feel ticked off, feel ticked off. But if you're like, oh, I shouldn't feel that way. Oh, I shouldn't, what's wrong with me? I should have just given it to them, and I give it to them, right? and then it just causes you more problems. Okay, so just with this over-consuming idea, I just wanted to review, and I actually had done this in my last webinar, but it was so good, I wanted to include it. So here we want to have this balance because we only have so much mind juice a day. So when I talk about mind juice, what I'm saying is just like there's limited amount of time in the day, right? We have 60 seconds per minute, 60 minutes per hour. We have a finite amount of time. We also have a finite amount of thinking time, right? Because our brains do need time to rest and to sleep. And we only have so much time every day to think about things, right? So if we are using up all of our mind juice for things that are unhealthy, we're going to have an unhealthy life. Okay. So for example, a healthy thought would be feeling negative and positive emotions. And a healthy would be to judge yourself if you're feeling negative emotion. So instead, like today, when I had this really, really happy thing happen, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, but what about this? What about that? What about this? I just thought, okay, interesting, brain. And I just realized, okay, I'm just letting myself feel some negative emotion right now. Doesn't feel great at all. And I wanted to avoid it. I wanted to go and distract myself. I wanted to go and take a bath, and I wanted to go and do my hair properly. And I wanted to do a bunch of other things because I didn't want to deal with it. Okay. But when you can just allow that gurgling in your stomach or that heavy feeling in your chest or whatever that is, it gives you freedom because now you've just processed that emotion and you're able to move on. Okay. Feeling negative and positive emotions, let people be them. So we're not trying to control people anymore. How much time do you spend every day thinking to yourself, if she would only do this, this, and this, if she would only do that, why wouldn't she do this? This would make so much more sense if she blah, blah, blah. Okay. That's you trying to control other people, and it's not allowing people to just be them. They're human. They're an adult. They get to choose. They also choose their consequences, but that's not on me. It's not a reflection on me. Okay. All right. To accept what is. How many of you don't? It shouldn't have been that way. As soon as you started saying should, it should be different. No, it shouldn't be different because it is exactly how it is, because we know how it's supposed to be, because that's the way it's supposed to be. So even terrible things like Chernobyl, like it shouldn't have happened. It's like, well, it did happen. So it was supposed to happen because it happened. Do you see what I mean? So if we're like trying to like resist it and react to it and avoid it, we're using up a lot of juice, a lot of our strength and energy, instead of just saying, I wonder why that happened. What can I learn from this? What's going on? Like, why am I having such a hard time with this? Okay. You're healthy is to be able to accept what is, willing to have difficult conversations. So you can react to conversations or situations and use a lot of energy fighting against it. Like, no, this shouldn't be this way. This is terrible. What were they thinking? No, we're not going to do that anymore. That's using up a lot of mind juice that we don't need. Enforce boundaries. Hey, I love you, but when you come to my house, we don't talk that way. And if you decide to talk that way, you can just leave. That's fine. Like, you're allowed. I'm not going to control you, but if you start swearing and if you start yelling and raising your hands like that, or your voice, I'm just going to ask you to leave. And if you don't leave, then I will call the police, or we will all leave, and we'll just let you be here and we'll just all leave. Like, you get to decide what you want, but that's creating a healthy boundary. So willing to work through your stuff and own your own results. So a lot of people over here, unhealthy, is they resist issues and watch a lot of TV. They scroll on social media. They buy stuff. They stay super busy. It's like, which one do you want? And how do you want to be? Okay. So the next one, the second thing that I want to help you with during this webinar is I want you to learn how to solve the real issue. Okay. So this is a puzzle. These are all puzzle pieces. And, you know, when you're doing a puzzle, I tend to do the outer borders first. Anyone else? And why do we do that? Have you thought about what the strategy? Well, first of all, one of the strategies of doing that is so that I can, now I'm feeling overwhelmed by all these puzzle pieces. There's so many of them, but I know that I can find the puzzle piece that has one straight line on it, right? One straight edge. So I can find all the puzzle pieces that at least have one straight edge. And when I know that, then I can line them up together. That's a criteria. That's like a way to narrow it down so it doesn't feel so overwhelming. And then I can kind of figure out the outline, and then I know what I'm working with. And that's what I want to offer for you today in today's webinar when we're talking about overconsuming and finding balance. So we're going to create our own balance, and we're going to understand why we're overconsuming. Why are we resisting and reacting and avoiding? And so why are we turning to those other things like scrolling and eating and stuff? Why are we doing that? And we're starting to solve that mystery for ourselves. And the first thing we're going to do is look for all the pieces that have that straight edge. And so that we want to look for clues. So in yourself, I want you to ask yourself, what are clues? Sorry. I'll just fix that. What are clues you are going, what are your clues of what you're doing? Like, oh my goodness. What are clues? What are your clues? Oh my goodness. What are clues you are going to, oh yeah. So what do you, like what happens inside of you right before you go and overeat, right before you go and start scrolling, right before you start online shopping? What are your own unique clues? Okay, so I have some ideas here, and I'd love this to be interactive. Like if you want to share them, great. I would love to hear from you. So here are some of them. You're feeling uneasy in your body. You're like, oh, I don't feel really comfortable. Maybe my stomach is upset. Maybe I need to get some food. Okay, does that sound familiar? And then shaky. It's like, you're kind of like, oh, I'm just like really, and you're kind of like looking around and you're not really sure what to do. And then you will even like go as far as like emptying out a closet, or you start moving furniture. I just did that over there. Or I did that because I needed to get the heater uncovered. But like you kind of do these little jobs that feel like really important all of a sudden, but really they're not that important. And then you don't finish a lot of them. Like you empty out the closet and you start doing some of it. And then you go to the kitchen and you start doing some of that. And then you go over here, right? So you have a lot of spinning thoughts. This is another one of like, well, you're just kind of like, it's like you've got a bunch of tops in your head, or like those spinning plates, and it just feels like you're like jumping from one to the other. You feel really unsettled, and you feel like you're gonna, like, if you don't keep really busy and really going, everything's gonna drop and everything's gonna be terrible. Another clue is you go to your past to look for evidence of all your failures. You're like, yeah, what was I thinking? Why was I thinking I could just like sit with my feelings and not need the chocolate, right? So just get curious about that. So what would you say are some of your clues for yourself? Okay, so here's another puzzle piece. So remember, the feelings really are the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. They are the motivation for everything we do. So remember how I talked at the beginning of like, what do we want on the holidays? We want to feel connected. We want to feel love. We want to feel like worthy. We want to feel good enough. We want to feel joyful. We want to feel accomplished, whatever that is. Okay. That is like a feeling always is. What is happening? Why am I yawning so much? So that is what's happening. Okay. So we remember that life is 50-50 to be well balanced. And in order for us to do that, we have to process our emotions. So if we're reacting or resisting or avoiding that negative emotion and we're not allowing it, then we're not going to allow the positive emotions. We're not going to be able to be with the positive emotions. Okay. So the issue is, if we want to feel happy over the holidays, we have to allow ourselves to feel sad. If we want to feel courage, we have to allow fear. If we want to feel joy, we need to feel some pain. If we want to feel excitement, there has to be some dread. Now, let me give you some really good news about this. When you just accept it, when you just say, oh my goodness, I'm feeling sad right now. I'm feeling worried. I'm feeling scared. I'm feeling whatever that is. I actually teach my clients to put your hand on your heart and say, what is the feeling I'm feeling? It's like lost and found with the feeling. Oh, that's fascinating. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that feels terrible. But when you just allow the emotion, it's just because you have a thought that creates emotion and you just allow it to be in your body, then you can just allow it. And you don't have to avoid, resist, or react to it. Okay. It's a beautiful thing. All right. So next, so here, feelings, like I said, feelings are the reason that our motivation for everything that we do. So even losing weight, you're like, I want to lose weight so I can feel good about myself. I want to lose weight so I can feel accomplished, so I can feel like I'm worthy. That is why you want to, you also want to lose weight so you can feel healthy, like you're a good steward of your body, right? And to avoid disease. You're like, oh yeah, that's a really good reason too. So the origin of all our feelings come from our thoughts. And the problem is 95% of our thoughts are subconscious. So they're autopilot thoughts. So an example would be, so if you were a little girl and you had to buy clothes at the husky section of the store, or your mom would make comments about your body. So you just started having these subconscious thoughts of like, I have a bad body. My body isn't great. My body isn't as good as other people's. I have a problem with my body. Okay. So now this goes on autopilot. So when you're at a party and you see something and you really want it, but you had said, I'm not going to go overeat today because I don't want to feel bloated. You can have these subconscious thoughts of like, well, your body isn't that great anyway, and you're always been overweight. You've always struggled with your weight. So there's probably no point in like fighting that. You just better just eat the food because that's just who you are. Okay. So 95% of our thoughts are subconscious. They're autopilot, but over here, 5% are the glasses, right? And the glasses that slows you down, and it shows you how I had that, where is that? Right here. Oh, where is it? Am I going to be able to find it? Yes, I will. I will find it for you, because remember, there's this thought model that helps you right here. So everything in life, so we have a circumstance that could be anything neutral, like carrot cake or whatever. And then we have a thought about it. The thought is what creates the feeling, not the carrot cake. We will get a dopamine hit from that, but the thought is where our feelings come from. Okay. Because carrot cake could make some people sick and some people like elated. And it's only because of the way you think about the carrot cake. That is why you're able to get that transformation, because you have a thought about it. Okay. So when you learn how to isolate your thoughts and you learn to slow down because you're accepting what's going on, then you get your power back. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. So does anyone have any questions so far? So that was 2, is to solve the real issue, to get to the root of it. Now, this is where I'm going to teach you some practical steps. I can't believe we're 40 minutes in already. It's so good. So when we talk about weight loss, and this is something that we don't hear a lot, because weight loss places want you to keep buying their shakes or buying their plans or their meals or whatever. I am not that way. I have one-on-one coaching available, and I have a lifetime membership. It's $2,000. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes. But I'm of the opinion, and I can see that how well it works, is that when I teach you the basics of weight loss, which are just 3 hormones, our insulin, our leptin, and our ghrelin, and we balance that. And in fact, stress is also involved with that. So if stress, which is a hormone, is highly elevated, I think of it like, when you have grease and grease just it coats everything. That's what stress does. It coats your insulin, it coats your leptin and ghrelin, like your sensitivity to it. That's what I'm saying. And so if we don't know how to manage our stress, which brings us back to like all the things that are stressful, painful, about Christmas, if we aren't able to manage that and we're not working on this, then we're in trouble. Okay. And so this is where I wanted to give you really practical tools. And I remember being in one of these webinars like 4 years ago. And I remember she was talking about things that we need to do to have a healthy body. So we need sleep. We need to have at least 6 to 7, well, probably more than 6, 7 to 8, 9 hours of sleep a night. That's really important. And it actually affects your weight loss. It affects your not even just weight loss, like weight loss maintenance. Okay. We also need to drink water. Our bodies really need water, and water is essential for our health. Okay. We need to pay attention to our hunger. So if we're always eating and we're actually not hungry, we're just giving our body all this fuel that doesn't need. And so now we're storing, our body becomes storage of all this extra fuel that we ate, right? We consumed so much and we didn't use it. So really paying attention to hunger is a huge part. Another one that's kind of related to that is how much of how much we eat is on habit. It's us saying, well, it's noon, I better eat. Oh, look, it's 5:30, I better eat, instead of really paying attention to our actual hunger. All right. Our bodies also really like to move. They do like to have movement. Like we have joints for a reason, right? We can do all sorts of things. We're very bendable and our bodies love to move. And so just moving, it gets the heart beating. And then we have these like endorphins that come, right? Like a body like encourages us. It says, when you exercise, you're going to feel really good. We're going to give you these endorphins and you're going to it's like, because it's incentivizing you. Just like with food, we get a dopamine hit when we eat, because if all we have to eat is crickets, our body needs to be like, okay, no, it's good. Eat, because it needs that energy. So we are rewarded for eating. We are rewarded for moving. We're even rewarded for sleep, right? When we wake up, we're like, oh, I feel refreshed. I feel great. We feel rewarded for drinking water, because how many times do you have a headache and you're like, oh my goodness, I know why I have a headache, because I haven't been drinking my water. So our body, it reinforces this. Another one is, so movement. Okay. So this is where I'm going to, so there's all these things that our body likes a lot. Another one, and I didn't know how to, maybe I'll draw this. Our body likes to digest real food. So our body loves when you eat like carrots or celery. I just had a really yummy salad, apple and walnuts and all of that. So when our body has these foods that have like minerals and nutrients, our digestive system loves it. It's like, oh, I have a job to do, and I'm going to give this zinc to this part and this vitamin A to this part and beta carotene to the eyes or whatever. But if you're eating food that the body's like, I don't even know what this is. This is like some sort of hydrogenated something or caramelized, I can't even pronounce any of those words. The body's like, doesn't really know what to do. Okay. So those are some real basics of what the body really likes and works really well for balancing our 3 hormones. So this is what I'm going to offer to you today. I want you to pick one thing, just one thing, because the problem is you come to these webinars and you get all pumped and you're like, yeah, Dara had all these really great things that she was talking about. But then it was like, but I don't know how to feel my feelings and I don't really want to, and I'm avoiding and I'm hiding and I'm doing all my old habits, right? And it feels terrible. So today I'm just going to offer you one thing. Now I'm going to give you some practical examples for the first one, water. Okay. So are you ready? So I live in Canada, as you know, and we have President's Choice, and it's I know like La Croix, and there's lots of bubbly water. By the way, isn't that cute? They're red and green. So I buy these. And this is like so fun for me because if you go to a party, just that you don't want to have that fear of missing out. Now, I don't drink alcohol, so I'm like drinks aren't as big of a deal for me just because that's never been a thing, but it is fun, like especially at my family parties where my sister and my sister-in-law and my nieces and nephews, they love pop. Like they love pop. They have lots of pop at their house. And so just for me to be able to be, we had a party of my dad, his birthday in the summer, and there was all this pop and everyone was drinking them. And I bought 3 of these. I bought a ginger ale, I bought a root beer, and this one is vanilla cherry. And it was just so fun. I just cracked it open. I had my thing with me. I didn't feel left out. I didn't feel like I was depriving myself. I let my kids help themselves to it so they could feel like that. Because I mean, it's not like I don't not let my kids drink pop, but I give them options. I give them healthy options. Okay. And, I did say to them, you can have 1 pop, but after that, like no more pop. Like that's a lot of sugar in 1 can. And so then they could be there. It's like sociable. Okay. So how does everyone like that idea? You want to try it out? My favorite is, I actually really like the root beer, but I've gone several times and they haven't had it as much, but the ginger ale to me is really yummy. It feels like you're drinking ginger ale, but you're not, it doesn't feel sick afterwards. Another one that I would recommend with the water is buying yourself a variety of herbal teas or teas, whatever. I'm a herbal tea girl. And so I'm getting some of my favorites like peppermint and creamy vanilla. That's so yummy. I'm always a fan of licorice. I just got some gifts from a client. This is the chai box. And so she got Rubius, I think that's how you say it. And this one's super yummy. It's Lavender Nights. And so I just play around and experiment with different teas. And so I actually have 2 baskets right now. So I always have those at hand. We have a soda stream. So in the summertime, I'll have my doTERRA essential oils. So I will put that in there. Another thing I do is I'll put just like lemon, or I will put cucumber slices, or the 3 berry mix from Costco. I'll put that in my water. That's really yummy. I know a lot of my clients are enjoying they'll buy like dried lemon and orange slices, and they'll put that in their water. This is something I do quite often. So these are just lemon. I squeeze the lemon and then I have ginger. So, and actually you can buy both of these at Costco. They have like lemon by the bulk, but I do recommend you put it in your fridge because lemons sitting out too long on your countertop, they go bad. They store a lot better in your fridge. And then you just cut up some ginger and that is delicious. So I did this yesterday, and then this morning we had an early morning. And so I've replaced the water probably 10 times in this, and it still will have that flavor. So I will throw this away tonight. But for a good like 24 hours or so, you can use the same one if you want. So those are some really practical steps. Now, so I kind of dived into drinking water. And so those are different options of the water. But what I would recommend, so the recommendation is drinking half your body weight not liters, ounces. So I'm 150 pounds. So my recommendation is to drink what's that, half of that? So 75 liters. I mean, ounces. 75 liters would be a lot. Don't do that. So that's what I recommend. Now, the other thing about that, so then we would troubleshoot, and I was like, maybe you get an app. One of the things that I do is I use my jars, and I always have 2 jars going. I've got my kettle. I brought it upstairs, so it's like right handy while I'm at work, because I'm working out of my my house. And so I have a target. I should have 4 of these before noonish. Okay. So then I kind of know, and then I usually have at least 2, if not 2 more, like 2 in the afternoon. And then I'll have 1 kind of around like dinner and things like that. And now that I've got my fun sparkly, I kind of implement this as part of that too. Okay. So does anyone have questions about that? So what I want to say is just pick one thing. Just pick one thing that you're going to do really good at, and just like work on that. So if your brain's like, yeah, but you're drinking, but your sleep is bad. You're like, okay, I'm just working on drinking water. That's it. And then, so when you get maybe some resistance of like that all or nothing thinking, you can say, yeah, no, I'm only going to work on my drinking water right now. That's all I need to do. Okay. All right. So the skills that you will need, you need to feel your feelings. So you have to allow the spectrum, the negative and positive, be in your brain, accept and no longer hide, avoid, resist, or react. Take responsibility for your own emotions. No more blaming or shaming others. So result that you have when you learn these skills is you're going to have no more over-consuming food to feel a certain way, because you realize that where you get your feelings is from your thoughts. Your relationship deepens with your body and self. You're more intimate with yourself, which allows you to be more intimate with others. And when I'm talking about intimate, like actually being able to talk to people instead of being stressed out about that you're at a restaurant and you're worried about people judging you. You can't be intimate. You can't have like good conversations if you're always in your own head judging yourself. That's what I mean. You're going to save a lot of time and money. You're going to be more calm with yourself and your life. And food isn't a scapegoat anymore. So that is the training for today. I have 2 really fun offers for you that I would love to share with you. So the first one is for all of you who have like all or nothing thinking, or who go into the good student syndrome, or who fail ahead of time, or you never start something because you're worried it's not going to work. So that's what failing ahead of time is, I call it. You have tons of UFOs, not only fabric, but in your house or whatever that is. And then if you also feel like you're exhausting yourself and you don't really trust yourself, then I have created this webinar for you, a masterclass. It's December, 27th, 28th, and 29th. And this is going to help you and I actually have 3 quizzes. We have the perfection recovery quiz, perfections quiz, people pleasing, and procrastinating. So we have those. They will be, I'm not sure, they haven't been totally finished, but you could probably get a pretty good idea right now of where you fall in the spectrum. And so if that is you, I have created this beautiful course for you, and I want to hang out with you 27th, 28th, and 29th. Because one of the problems is you're going to be writing, or maybe you've even given up on New Year's resolutions. I don't know, but I want you to have success. I really care about you and how you approach yourself, and stop giving up on yourself so much. And so this course, it's $19. You get the Perfection Recovery digital download, work along beside of it. And we will be meeting over Zoom for an hour for each day. And we will be in a private Facebook group. So you will have all of the replays, and you have those available too. Okay. So that is a really fun offer. And for all of you who are already in my Love Yourself Then lifetime membership, it's free. You don't have to pay the $19, and you can join with us in that time. Okay. So for those of you who I mentioned that I'll tell you about my lifetime membership. So my lifetime membership is called Love Yourself Thin. It's $2,000. Now, just a little bit, I didn't even introduce myself. I'm always so like excited. I'm like, okay, let's go. I have this, like, we're going to go a little bit over an hour. And I can stay till like 1:30. Sorry, I can stay till 2:30. Yeah. Yes, I can. So, there's no rush. I don't have a meeting until 2:45. So let me tell you about Love Yourself Thin. But before I do that, I just want to share just a little bit about myself. So I'm Dara Thomason. I'm the weight loss coach for quilters and for other women who want to improve their mental and physical health. If you are not a quilter, but you resonate with what I'm saying, you are welcome with like open arms. You're welcome to join Love Yourself Thin. And I myself have struggled with my weight since my early 20s. My parents actually got a divorce. I did struggle with my weight. I'm 6 feet tall. I'm kind of like Barbie, ish. I as a teenager, I felt like I was really thin. I had friends that would make comments about, oh, you're so thin, you're so pretty. You don't have any, stretch marks. You don't have any, fat on your bum. Like they would make comments like that. And I wasn't always sure like how to take that. But I just thought, well, this is just who I am. But in my early 20s, my parents got divorced, which was a huge shock. And I was scared. I was scared of committing. I was scared of like a relationship. And I used food to comfort myself. And because I actually was the shortest in grade 8, shortest girl. And then I was like almost the tallest in grade 9. I grew so fast. I did have a friend who was 6'2" at the school, but other than her, I was the second tallest in my high school. So I could eat a lot because I grew so much, and it was just something that I just got the habit of overeating. And I actually got a lot of approval by how much I could eat. So anyhow, I struggled with my weight. And then I eventually got married at 28, and I had been running. And so I was able to get my weight down, and I felt pretty good about myself. So my wedding weight was 164. With a lot of running and exercise and just watching what I ate. And then I had 5 babies. My oldest will be 20 in December. And I always worked really hard at trying to get back into my wedding weight. And I did pretty good. I had a lot of discipline, but I used a lot of willpower, and I used a lot of negative self-talk to reinforce, like, you better get to that weight. You better not get pregnant again before you lose that, all of that stuff. And when we moved here, so I live on Vancouver Island, it was a really hard move, and I didn't know how to overcome some of the disappointments and the different emotions that I had. And so I just started gaining a bunch of weight, even though I was trying to exercise and I felt like I was eating fairly healthy, but I was at like 205 pounds, which I'd only ever been when I was pregnant. And it scared me, and I didn't know how to overcome it. And because I had an injury, I couldn't run the way I used to. And even walking sometimes was challenging. And so in the summer of 2018, I got myself a life coach because I was like at my end of the rope. I thought, how am I going to live? I was literally doing the math. I'm going to gain 5 to 10 pounds every year for the next, and I was like going with perimenopause, all of that. And I did the math, and I was like, I'm going to be 260 pounds when I'm 65 years old. By the time my husband retires, I cannot live that way. I'm not going to put myself in that prison. And I was really afraid. And so I got the life coach, and she helped me see my thoughts. She actually taught me the tool, the model, and it solved every single problem. We could work through it through the model. And I thought, okay, this is what I want. And so I used these tools for myself to be a quilt instructor and to build my business, to rebuild my business after moving from Alberta, and started getting all of these fun jobs, teaching all across Canada and doing all these really cool things. And it was because I was using these tools. And in the same time, I started losing weight. So I have now lost 50 pounds without counting calories or exercising, because I knew that wasn't anything that I was going to do for the rest of my life. And so I just turned 49, and I have been able to keep this weight off using this framework that I created. And I've helped hundreds of women do the same thing. And that's what I'm offering for you today. So in the framework that I teach is there's 5 main, and this is actually after me figuring out my own process and me coaching women one-on-one for over a year, and then doing groups. I take groups of women, 20 or so at a time over 3 months, and I would teach them this process. And now I'm at the point where I have the lifetime membership, and it's just so exciting. We had a new member join today even, and I will tell you how you yourself can join us. So here we have Weight Loss Science is Simple. You learn to create and troubleshoot your own eating plan, because you're a grown woman. You don't have to tell me what to eat, what you're eating. I don't have to tell you what to eat. You can decide that, and I can teach you how to decide if that was a good choice or not. And I'm not going to give you a report card. You can be your own guide on that. We need to learn the brain-body connection. So we need to learn all those feelings, because remember, the main reason we do anything is because we want to feel a certain way, and feelings don't come from chocolate. They come from your thoughts. But if you're running yourself through subconscious thoughts all the time, you don't even know how you're getting those results, because it's so subconscious. Okay. Taking responsibility for yourself. That's a huge tool, taking control, and that's okay. There's some really cool tools that I teach within my program on how to do that, and then building confidence. So these are the 5 pillars for permanent weight loss. And in order to learn them, what I've done is I created 12 modules, and the modules have their accompanying worksheets, and I give you the information plus the worksheet. So that is everything you need to know to create that result for yourself. And that's why it's a lifetime membership. You have access to it always. And guess what? I thought to myself, okay, it's one thing to have some modules, it's one thing to have worksheets, but how do I help these ladies, these members, to be successful with that? And so as I considered that, I thought, okay, I'm going to offer, and by the way, I do have a contract in there. You have 20 pounds in 90 days. It's awesome. So I thought, okay, what I love helping women learn the tools. And the best way to learn the tools is to monitor them and how they're doing. And so in order to do that, I offer 3 live coaching calls a week, and live over Zoom. I wish you could come to my house. But so we have over Zoom 3 calls, Monday, Wednesdays, Thursdays. And I help you to get coached. You get to watch other women get coached, and you get to see that you're not alone. It's so powerful. Another thing I thought, well, how do I help these women to really get those 12 modules and worksheets and really feel empowered? Well, having a private Facebook group where they can interact with each other, and I can interact with them. I was on a walk on Saturday, and I had this really cool I thought about for them. I was like, oh, this would be really helpful for them. So on my walk, I just recorded an Instagram live or Facebook live, and I just shared some of my thoughts, right? So it's you're super connected to me, and I'm connected to you. And it's a great way. And then you get connected. You start really getting connected to those women in the program, because you're watching them being coached and watching them shrink and watching them figure these things out. And so to be able to access them in a private Facebook group and to build that community is really, really important. Another thing that I thought, well, how do I help these women have success? So we have this feature, it's called Ask a Coach. And so once you join Love Yourself Thin, you get a membership into the portal. And the portal is just the place where all the 12 modules live. You get your own tracking system. So you track, okay, what module I'm on, it will tell you, and you keep track of it. And in that module, in that portal, we have Ask a Coach. And so you can ask me, or I answer it, or some of my coaches will answer it. And you can ask any question you want. If you're nervous about asking it on Facebook, if you're nervous about raising your hand, you can ask me. It's anonymous. I don't even know who asked the question. and then I'll answer that. And then it goes into, I believe you get an email saying here's, yeah, you get an answer. And then it goes into the bank of all the previously asked questions. So it's such a great resource. Another one is, yeah, here it is, the private portal. So you have access to all your modules, you keep track of it, and and then there's lots of bonus classes. Okay. And the thing that's really fun about the lifetime membership is that it's, what's the word? It's money back guarantee. So it's risk-free. That's what I wanted to say, because you do sign a contract that says you will come to at least one call a week. You'll get coaching. You'll ask for coaching once a month. You do a few other little things, and I will guarantee that you will get those results when you do that. And actually, when you first sign up, you get 5 short videos that talk about mindset and helping you think about your thinking to help you to have more success for that. Okay. So because it's the holidays, Noel, if you sign up now, I will send you the 90-day workbook. Now, the 90-day workbook, we're already working on it. Today was day 56, I think. But we're starting January 9th. And so I will send it to you, and you'll get the digital download, and you can just start with us. It's no big deal. It's like very cyclical, because what I've done is I created a 30-day cycle using the 5 pillars. So weight loss science is simple. You create your own eating plan and troubleshoot it. You learn how to have your own feelings. You get the take responsibility for yourself and self-confidence. So I created a 30-day cycle, and every 30 days, so we do one, and then the next 30 days, it's the same concept you did like on day 1 as day 31, but it's just a little bit higher thinking. And then we do that 30 days again, and then we'll do it again 30 days more. So day 61 is just a little more advanced than day 31 than day 1. Okay. And it's like such a fabulous strategy to help you, because what's going to start happening is, just like our subconscious thought, 95% of our thoughts are subconscious. When you do this cycle over and over again, all these really great habits become subconscious. You just start doing that. You don't even think about it anymore. Okay. So if you sign up today, I will mail that to you. It will be so fun for you to get that paper copy. And then of course, once you sign in, you get the digital copy right away. All right. So what happens when you learn and apply Love Yourself Thin? Well, getting dressed in the morning isn't so painful. Walking in a room and not feeling judged. You go out for dinner and you enjoy yourself. You play with your kids and grandkids how you want to. You buy a quilt kit and you know that you can finish it. You're not going to be afraid of food. Grocery shopping is going to be simple. There's not a lot of drama. You honor your own word to yourself. You don't feel guilty sewing and taking time for yourself. And you say what you want without guilt. Okay. So those are some pretty awesome, those are just some of the side effects of learning the Love Yourself Thin process. So who has questions for me? This is so yummy. So some of the questions that I get are, if you can't make the calls, what happens? So all the calls are recorded and they're put on the portal. So you can access them. They'll always come like 24 hours or so after the call. So you don't have to come to all the calls live. We have one call on Thursday that is, so it's at 2:00 Pacific. So that's 3 Mountain, 4 Central, and 5 Eastern. So that's kind of a later time. The other calls are in the morning, but I'm Pacific. So it just depends, but they're all recorded. Another question that I get about Love Yourself Thin is, what are some other ones? Oh, do I have a payment plan? So if you would like to talk about a payment plan, I can send you a special link. You can make 4 equal payments. So because you came to a webinar, that's like a bonus for you to come to that. Do you have private coaching? That's another question I get. So I do have a few spaces left for you could be coached by me one-on-one. I do have another coach that's in my program, and she also has some spaces. And so we could meet after and we could talk about what that would look like to work with me versus working with her, with the Love Yourself Thin as the backbone. What are some other questions? I don't know. You ask me. I'm here for you. Does anyone have any other questions or comments? One of the questions that I often get when I'm talking to ladies about making a decision about Love Yourself Thin, I often say to them, if you knew that this was a program that would really help your grandkids or your own child or your husband, would you hesitate to pay for them? And you can go to my YouTube. I don't have them here, but I have a lot of testimonials of clients that have made such huge changes in their lives. And they've been able to lose weight and keep it off. And because they're just getting that emotional support, and they're learning how to trust themselves, and they're learning how to solve for what's really going on instead of having to turn to the food. Excuse me. So if you go to my YouTube channel, which is Dara Thomason, there's a whole section of testimonials of women who have lost the weight and kept it off. So if that is, and really when I think about, I call my program Love Yourself Thin, because we are, whatever you take care of, whatever you value, you take care of it. So if you value your sewing machine, when you bring it in your car, you're probably going to wrap it up. You're probably going to put it in a seatbelt. You're probably, really secure it. You don't just chuck it in the back of your car and hope for the best. But one of the things that I've seen for so many women is they aren't valuing themselves. They think that their value is tied to the size of their body, or their accomplishments every day, or how much retirement that they had, or whatever that is. And so they don't think that they're worth taking care of if they haven't been successful in some areas. And so the basic premise of Love Yourself Thin is to really learn how to care for yourself. So to just pick up on the story I was telling you, my own personal journey. So when I got my own life coach and I started doing all these, doing this thought work and really going into my brain and getting to the root of the issues, I lost 30 pounds and I was thrilled because I had 5 babies, and I didn't have to count calories. Wasn't like depriving myself. It was just this like totally different experience. And I remember I had a photo shoot with this really talented photographer and here in my studio. And I remember just feeling so proud of myself. I'm like, I can't believe I've done this, 30 pounds. And that was like in May. And the thing that was so fascinating was by Christmas that year, I had lost 20 more pounds, and I didn't think I needed to lose 20 more pounds. I was thrilled. I was only 6 pounds away from my wedding weight. And so it just shows, like, when you make your life wonderful, when you learn how to just feel those negative emotions and not make a big deal of them, and like, oh, I'm feeling this like feeling right now. Okay, what's up? You don't have to go to the pantry. You don't have to go get the chocolate. You don't have to do any of those things. You can just let yourself feel that. And you can let yourself be a human. And so when I was able to lose 50 pounds, I couldn't believe it. And it's been really interesting as I've kept that weight off, and as I've helped so many other women, how powerful it is to let yourself go into your brain and to explore, because I truly feel like we all have our own answers. Our bodies have wisdom. Our bodies know how to breathe. Our bodies know how to digest food. Our bodies, they know what to do. They know how to make babies. They know how to do all sorts of things. And our brain, our higher brain really has, because we know ourselves the best. And we can learn to trust ourselves the best. And, but if we're constantly like berating ourselves and overfilling ourselves with food and looking for food for our joy and people pleasing and all of that, we will never have that opportunity to have the kind of life that we want. And that's what I'm offering to all of you. And it's a $2,000 investment. And so, like I said, you can pay all at once and you're in and we're good to go. Or you can pay 4 equal payments. Either way, I'm totally fine with it. And if you want to speak to me one-on-one about what that looks like, then we can stay on this call. I can talk to you about it. You can just raise your hand and say, hey, or just put it in the chat like, hey, I want to talk to you. Or we can find another time to talk, because I do need to be, I have until 2:45 and then I have 3 more calls today. So any other questions? How are you feeling? Are you feeling like you can, are you feeling like you can do what I've asked you to do, is just pick one thing and just go all in on that one thing? Do you feel like you can, instead of just hope to find balance, you actually create the balance? Not something, it's not like it's lost and found, like you have to find it. It was lost. No, you create balance for yourself. All right. I have another training next Monday. I would love to invite you to that, but I truly just want to invite you to come to Love Yourself In. I invite you to, I actually will put it in the chat. Can I put it in the chat? No, I can't. Oh, I can do this. Oh, no, I can't. But this is what you do. You go to, here, let me just find it for you. How you join right now. You just go darathomason.com/love-yourself-thin and then /. There we go. Here, let me show you. I'm just going to share my screen with you. So easy. So we just go to, here we are. So we just go Dara Thomason / love-yourself-thin /, and you go right here to this picture and you just click on here, tell me how. And there's a little video there for you, but you just watch me forever. I'm ready. And then you just click on buy now. You fill in this information and you pay, and then you're in. You can get right into the portal, which, by the way, this is what it looks like. Let me just show you. Oops. All right, I'm just going to sit down so I don't hurt my back. So here we go. So you just, oh, this is what it looks like. You like that picture of me? It's kind of different. Oh, those are the Black Friday deals. I didn't mean to click on that, but those are awesome. You should go check those out. But here, so if you, when you work and when you get the portal, it says program login. And then it just fills it all up. And then we have, these are the introduction videos. These are the mindset videos that are going to really help you. And then here's the 12 modules. And so, yeah, you just click on there. That's module number 1. So here's the video. And then the worksheets are here. And then there's the resources attached. Yeah. And then of course, it's nice. You got the calendar. So it'll, I mean, you will get an email for every time we have a class. So we go to the calendar and it will say when we have calls. And oh, it's not letting me do that. Call replays. So those are all in there, lifelong learning. So these are all the bonus classes. Oh, here we go. Call replays. And then you actually also get your own personal tracking system. So this will show you, like you can log in your weight if you want. It tells you like what modules you've done. Yeah, you can like create, you can have as much or as little of that as you want. Okay. And then there's the Ask a Coach. So you can ask any question. You can ask me 5-6 times a day if you wanted, and I'm there to help you. So yeah. All right. Okay. So thank you for coming. Thank you for attending. And I'm so excited to have you be a part of Love Yourself Thin. You are welcome anytime. I am here to talk to you. My program is always open, but the question I have to ask you is why wait? Why wait? Why not start now? There will never be the perfect time. The perfect time is actually right now when you have that desire. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.